Surprised any of you even pretend like Twitch is going to start the video at this point. Hello everyone. I don't know what the weird sound was that you were hearing before stream was actually started, because the VU meter bounces a whole bunch because audio is muted. That's part of the reason why I was using the Tascam as the audio receiver, because the Blackmagic has a lot of noise on the audio output, and I have no idea why. So, yeah. Sounds like I'm out of range. Okay, describe that with more words. Hearing lots of noise. Okay, hold on. I'm going to hold my hand up when I mute my microphone, okay? I want you to tell me if the noise and stuff goes away.
Subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 42 months, currently on a 42-month streak. And says FACEPALM. End of line.
Hiram, thank you for the Tier 1 sub and for 42 months. 42. Thank you. Alright.
Vitoxin have subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 36 months, currently on a 36-month streak, and says 3 years dash dot from the Philips CM-100. Tam. Hydro Thunder and other data general MCD robot dot been watching you on YouTube since a bit before the 20th anniversary Windows 98.PC build video dot. Thanks for all the fun. Always looking forward to the next big thing dot. Nikohut Jeflov in a Meklub. End of line.
Battle Cave, I really appreciate that. Thank you a lot. And thank you for the 36 months. I appreciate that too. Yeah, we'll get to the robot. Apparently first I need to fix the audio. I'm just going to restart the whole camera. Actually,
Schneid says CHEER 100 dot what they said dot words. End of line.
test. Okay, so 100% of the noise is coming from this camera. That's cool. It's mono, well, only the wireless microphone, but no noise. I didn't change anything. Oh my gosh. Schmide, thank you for the 100 bits. Okay. Alright, fine. Hey, let's come over to the other camera. Hey, look, it's the thing. Okay. Let's go over what all has happened. Okay. I said last weekend that I was going to work on this weekend. And then I realized that I wanted to release a video about this tomorrow. So I thought, okay, I'm going to come in, I'll finish up a couple of things with this thing, and then I will be able to just work on the video and get it done. We can just play with it a little bit this weekend. You guys, you know, it won't be that bad. It was so bad. So first off, yes, those are the Asus drives. The SATA adapters are installed as well. Everything, it's all the new stuff. First, these.
NEODRAGON 90S subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 40 months. And says, Hype train continuance by your command.
Neo Dragon, thank you for the tier 1 sub. And for 40 months, I appreciate that. So this is one of the USB 3.0 SATA adapters that Helen Croft found. These are awesome, but not this one. This one's dead. It was DOA. Just like... So, yeah, that didn't work. So, these two are using those, because I only ordered 3, like some kind of idiot. This is using one of the ones that steals power for 5 volt from USB, because I mean it's only a little bit of power, and it works since they're not all trying to use power from that. So these two get their power from the power supply. This one gets it from USB and the power supply. So they're all the SATA drives, are all connected in there. The hub is inside, that's all a thing. You'll see more about that when I do the video. It's all connected and it's working pretty well, all right? So that was the first thing I had to go through, was figuring out the USB and SATA stuff. So I'm reasonably convinced that it's all running as fast as it can, but I'm also convinced CDs are just awful. So I don't know. I actually tried the Sonic Crossworlds
Silver
thing
subscribed
while
at tier
waiting for
1.
this.
They've subscribed for 39 months, currently on a 39-month streak, and says, are we there already? I think one of the first video I watched was the Windows 98 build. Gee, that's been a minute. End of line.
Sergeant Silver, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 39 months. I appreciate that. Coffee today? You know what? Let's drink more coffee. Oh yeah, coffee. Okay. So the SATA stuff, that all worked itself out. Just found that out. What do you mean found that out? The Sonic thing or the... I don't even know what the last thing I said was. Oh, I tried Crossworlds. It seems okay.
Softman subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 41 months, currently on a 41-month streak. And says, I'm also under the belief that CDS are awful and dragging when I start backing them up. By your command.
They're truly the worst. Thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 41 months there, Spies of Mud. I appreciate that. Alright, so those are the Asus drives, and I hate them. I hate these drives more than words can describe. So I think we last left off with discovering the fact that they open different amounts depending on whether or not they had a disk installed, right? I think we discovered that on stream. I just like, well, please let someone refresh me because it's been so much. I think I discovered that on stream. Does that sound familiar? It may not. I don't know. I just want to know how much backtracking. Well, you know what? Let's just start there. For those of you who may not have been here for that. So, these are Asus 24B1STs, I think. It's close enough. I'll show the label a few times in the videos. So, they're Asus DVD CD drives. I picked them because I had 2 of them already, and pretty sure off stream. Okay, well, let me cover this. So I had 2 of these drives, and I bought a 3rd one so that I could do this, because this drive can read the pre-gap hidden track off of They Might Be Giants Factory Showroom. And I was using that as a rough criteria to determine whether or not these drives were capable of being usable for reading lots of complicated CD data. Because if it can read more than 1 second, and that one's about a minute of pre-gap data, it means it has a pretty good chance of being able to read whatever you want. This drive is not on the list of redump calibrated or certified drives, however you want to think about it, but it might be someday. At least I'm going to see if it's acceptable. I'm going to try and contact someone involved with the project or something, because I think this drive has potential. Anyway, I hate this drive still. I can't demonstrate this anymore because I have solved the problem, but it's insane that I even had to. So there's a silver Sharpie mark on this drive right here, all right? That silver Sharpie mark indicates how far out this drive goes. I just went and I marked it like that, okay? The thing is, though, you see back there, there's a second silver Sharpie mark. I'm not using Windows. I don't know where you're seeing Windows. I'm using Linux. Here's the thing. Turns out these drives are just straight up evil. And they're antagonistically designed for this exact purpose. So, without a disk, the drive tray will actually open farther than it would with the disk installed. I don't know why. I don't know how. But if you have a disk in there, okay, you close the drive, and then you open the drive, the distance that it goes out is less than when you first put the disk in. It's different. It just straight up, it's different. Okay? I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Okay? So, vertical mounting, it has the catches on it. I don't know. Anyway, the tray is heavy with the disc's drag on the bearing. Yeah. You've had that happen? I'm not sure what you mean with the tray, because it's a very weird thing. I didn't even notice it until I put them in the robot. So maybe that's probably why I didn't discover this on stream. I probably had this happen on Monday or something. I don't know. All the days have blended in together of me just sitting here beating my forehead on the desk. So, yeah, it's Windows. It's KDE. I don't know what to tell you, man. So, let's talk about some things with that, okay? So, we just ejected it with a disk, right? Okay. So here, let me just kind of half pop one of these tray doors on, because you might have noticed, like, you took the tray door off. Why would you do that? I really didn't want to do this, actually. So let me just roughly put one of these on, because it kind of sucked to take off, and I don't want to have to put it fully on again. Okay. So that's about on, okay? So here's a fun little detail about this drive, okay? I'm going to pick up this disk, I'm going to push this to the front of the bezel, and it actually, while touching the front of the bezel, still hits the drive bezel. So I am touching the front bezel, and I'm still hitting that. So it is impossible to pick the disk straight up out of the drive. The way a human is expected to pick up this disk is to tilt it back and then pull it out. There is no other way to remove the disk. That's the only intended way. So the drive bezel has to go. Because with that out of the way, you can, in fact, pick the disk up and slide it out. Now, before, that still wasn't possible. So you see in here, okay, you see this lip right here, it's kind of sticking out. So this seals against the drive door along the edge, okay? So that's what this does. This seals so that it's like nice and clean. You don't get all that dust in there. Like you can see all this dust on this drive rail now. I don't like that. I really wanted to prevent getting dust in there. So I was apprehensive about A, taking off the drive door, and then B, doing what I did next. That rail used to go all the way across. Okay? It used to go all the way across there. Matter of fact, see this little part where it sticks down extra? It used to stick down a bunch in the middle here. And you know what that would mean? That would mean when the arm goes to put a disc in there, the disc would hit that, and then the arm would jam, and it couldn't put the disc in. So I dremeled out that lip on all three drives. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's not really that much that the difference between open without disk and open with disk is. And I had this idea, okay, when the drives close, okay, they close pretty quickly here, like, that's not slow. So what I did is, well, first off, I had to write a whole calibration routine for the drive. So there's now in the driver for PyDiskRip for this robot, there's a whole step-by-step calibration routine that you can run. Because once I put these drives in there, surprise, surprise, I had to recalibrate literally everything about them. Anyway, so the idea was the disk would get set like this on there, okay? So that it was on the tray in the back like that. And then what happens is when you close it, it pops back. Kind of works, right? Because that's going to happen basically every single time as the inertia of the tray moving forward, you know, the disk is going to fall down. That's fine. So the first time the tray opens without a disk, it's going to put the disk on like ramped back, and then it'll fall into place. And then every single time after that, it's going to have a disk in it. So the tray will always be in the same spot. So like, yeah, that's, you know what, that's probably fine. I don't have to worry about the position too much. I'll calibrate for the inner position-ish. I kind of pulled it out slightly because it was having some problems where it wouldn't always drop it in the same place. So it's like, okay, that problem's solved. So I had one thing I wanted to do, all right? To like my full proof of concept, okay, the thing works. I wanted to rip all of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's soundtracks. It's 14 CDs here, okay? That's not even that big of an ask, really. 14 discs, thing's meant to be able to handle like 200, okay? So I tried to rip 14 CDs, and it didn't work. For so many stupid reasons. So I couldn't get the alignment right, and that's when I cut the bezels. Okay, this was like an evolving process where I'd try it, it would fail this way, and I'd do that. Okay, so that was part of it. Finally, I got the drives modified to everything that I've described here, and it still was failing, but it wasn't the drive's fault at this point. As frustrating as it is, because I want to blame the drives, it was actually Music Brain's fault. So one of the things that I had to add to the software here was under the CD ripping thing, and this took me a little while to figure out that I needed to do. So the software, my software now creates a temp file for Music Brains, and it stores the next time the software is allowed to make an API request, because it turned out that when it would first load all 3 discs at once, I think I was hitting a rate limit on Music Brains, and it would not gracefully reject my request, and it would just hang the software. So it wouldn't work. Now, I don't know what the actual limit is. I have it set to 30 seconds for right now, just to like guarantee that it's going to be good. But yeah, that's what would happen. So that was a fun one to figure out. I didn't initially think it was that, because what I thought it was my internet would die after it made the request, but before I got the response. So I ended up writing this after, trying to chase that dragon for a while. But then in the end, it turned out that was happening too. So both things were actually happening. So my final test, okay, for this setup, I just disabled the Music Brain stuff altogether by just disconnecting from my network. And I have it set up before. It actually wouldn't work offline. I didn't know, because it would try to make a request Music Brains and then it would fail. So now this software will work offline, and Music Brains will gracefully fail. So I had to do all that, and then finally I could try ripping the discs, okay? And let's go back to the arm cam. This is the footage from yesterday of it trying to rip the discs. Like, oh, hey, wow, look, cool, it's doing things. All right. Let's get to the last 3. Okay, we put that one in, and then we get to the next one, and then, yep, we put that in. Okay, and then we get to the last one. Oh, what happened? It was going so well. Let's see that one more time here. Okay, let's just boop, and then zoom in and thunk. Oh, cool. For some reason, with a disc in the tray ejected farther. And then the clamp missed the hub. So at that point, these drives became my sworn enemy, because the position that the disc could be picked up from was no longer consistent. There's no way to detect. Does that mean you didn't need the dremeling? Oh, no, the dremeling's still required. 1 request per second. Oh, maybe it was only the internet dying or something. I don't know. Optical drive firmware reverse engineering project. Oh, no, I came up with a much better idea. So at that point, I was about ready to just scrap the whole thing and put the light-on drives back in, and like just really like the Futurama-esque time-lapse. Put a physical end stop in front of all the trays. So I can't put anything here.
Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 40 months and says tea or coffee for 40 months. End of line.
Coffee. Spooky, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 40 months. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I was about ready to throw in the towel when that happened. When the disk drive, it is the spicy minty coffee, yes. When the disk drive ejected farther than it should have. Because I'd spent hours fine-tuning the calibration to be able to drop the disk in the correct place, but it was never going to be possible for it to pick it up. I'm just going to wiggle the volume thing on the deck talk. We'll hope whatever happens, happens. Okay, so I was trying to keep the drives, like, not horrifically modified. You know, I cut the bezel like this instead of just removing the drive bezels because I wanted it to kind of look good, all right? And I didn't want these drives to be too heavily modified. I got to the point where after I saw that, where I was like, you know what, screw this. And I decided to crack open the drives. And I found kind of the perfect solution to this incredibly stupid, frustrating, irritating problem. And that solution is Tetris. It's this guy right here. This is it. This is how you fix it. Right there, that thing. Okay? You just need one of those in your hand, except it's more like that. All right? Nope, no super glue involved. Actually, it's a fully reversible mod that you don't even need to glue it in place. It's kind of beautiful, actually. Does it lock out some sensor? Oh, no, because the sensor thing's even better. Okay, I put tape all over the drive tray, wondering if it was like the disk sensor on a floppy drive where it's just like an optical thing. Oh, no, that's not how it works at all. That would make sense, okay? No, it actually reads from the CD laser and uses that to determine whether or not there is a disk in there. So that's why it's extra weird and frustrating that when that bottom tray poked out, that it went farther because it knew there was a disk. So here's what this thing is, all right? It's this. It's beautiful, okay? So this is the end stop for the drive tray. This is the maximum amount of out that it can eject, and it hits this white piece right here, okay? This particular side, there's one of these on each side, okay? But this particular side has this piece on a spring that you can push in to get this past the blocking peg so you can remove the tray. That's also how the tray was installed. So what I did is I designed the squiggle to fit inside of the spring, and then it extends this out more. Because it turns out, there's also, I don't have a photo, I'll cover it in the video, but there's a sensor in the weirdest possible way. There's no way to access the sensor that determines where in the tray travel it is to stop it. So, and it actually stops about here, all right? So what I did is I printed a piece, and this one actually isn't the final revision. The one that's in there is this, and it's slightly longer, goes out to about here. So what happens is the trays eject, and now they hit this 3D printed piece instead of the cast ABS piece. And that is why the Silver Sharpie, the first one, is all you can see, and not the second one. So these trays are now ejecting at a consistent rate because on this side of the tray, they're actually blocked. That side can go out farther, but this side can't. So I have internally modified the drives to not allow them to eject farther. So that was fun. So here's that was, I just finished that today before stream actually, because I wasn't even sure how well that was going to work and how much of a nightmare I was going to be. Move the physical end stop on the tray itself. Yes. So there's nothing external. You can't tell they're modified, but they are modified. because of that. So now, disk or no disk, they always eject out the same amount. So let's bring it back to now. Because as of now, it works. It will rip all 14 discs. It's only done it once. Yeah, on Sanity, there was very close to no stream. Overly complicated? Yeah. Did you miss something? Not really. Just the recanting of everything. Is Exercise and Curiosity want to find out if the light-on drives are stock or not? What do you mean the light-on drives? Oh, if they've been modified like these have? Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't really looked at them that closely. It's nice that it doesn't keep trying to run the motor and push when hitting the end stop. Yeah, unlike the ARM, the drives have a sensor for when the motor current's going like high or whatever, and it'll actually stop the tray. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's do a thing. All right. Let me start the whole process. What is zigzag piece in the rear? Intentionally enhancing. So it is physically limiting how far out the tray can extend so that it consistently pokes out the exact same amount every single time. So that's what the zigzag does. All right. I'm going to restart the software. Okay. So here we are. We're going to start the software. I think you guys, the ARM cam is valid. Okay. So here it is starting up now. With ASUS drives and all. All right, there we go. By the way, dev disk by path doesn't work. The eject command actually crashes on those paths. So here, I'll just demonstrate this really quick. Eject, dev, see how it goes SR, whatever, by, yeah, it won't even let us. So ls dev by, or is it disk by, path. All right. So in theory, okay, we could reference the drives by this, okay? So we could eject the middle drive with that, because that is what this is. So if we do this, ls-la, all right, we can see this is a symlink to SR3. But if we try and do eject that, I hate everything. It doesn't work in sub-process. I don't care. I'm done. I hate software. It crashes if you try and run it through sub-process. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, that's maddening. Anyway, so the software is running. Here it is. And Floofder, yeah, it physically limits motion. It doesn't activate a switch. Okay. That strange works 100% fine. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't work in sub-process or something. I don't know. All right. You know, I'm putting the software over here. And we're just going to switch to the big view because I need to record it doing this. All right. Button. I am so fried after this week, if you hadn't noticed. Okay. All right. So I'm going to record this process because I need a recording of the whole thing sequencing at least once for the inevitable video. So I am going to record this here. There we go. And I'm going to explain it as we go along. All right. So over here, we have the software. All right. It's ready to go. It's got all the drives ready. I have loaded Breath of the Wild discs 1 through 5, then Tears of the Kingdom discs 1 through 9 in that hopper. And it's now loaded in. I have removed my short low, my low unload because it sucks and I hate the thing. So we're just using the standard unload, so I put the clear disc in the back. So all right. I'm going to tell the software to load Breath of the Wild disc 1. And now we start. So I'm going to queue up 2. And I'm going to queue up 3. I'm going to queue up 4. I'm going to queue up 5. And that's it for that. Now, Tears of the Kingdom 1. Tears of the Kingdom 2. Tears of the Kingdom 3. Get out of here, stupid pop-up. And 4. There we go. 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. So every single CD here is now queued. And you saw it was able to load all 3 discs into there. So what now happens is it rips disc 1. It gets the Music Brain's information as well, sets a 30-second delay for the next disc. Then the next disc, after waiting 30 seconds, can request its Music Brain data, then start ripping it after that. It is all USB.
Just queue up Tears of the Shelby 1, Tears of the Shelby 2, Tears of the Oh God, why did I even start this project? End of line.
Okay.
77 R8ers from T2 SDE have joined. End of line.
T2 SDE and Raiders, hello and welcome. You are currently seeing the fruits of my tons and tons of labor here. The CD ripping robot is now fully functional. It has been an insane amount of work. I have had to heavily modify the DVD drives that I've now put in there in order to make them compatible with this machine, because it turns out Asus sucks. And they designed these drives almost specifically not to work with the CD robot, because the trays do not eject a consistent amount out from the drive, meaning that a robot arm doesn't know where to pick them up. So this is the first full real test of a rip. It is currently ripping 3 discs from the Breath of the Wild soundtrack, and then it's going to rip all 5 discs from that, and it's going to rip all 9 discs from Tears of the Kingdom. So I just have it queued and my hands off. This is my demonstration recording that I'm doing right now. So the view that you see through there, I'm actually recording in that camera right now so that I finally have a record of this thing functioning. I think it is about to finalize disc 1 and swap that out so you'll be able to see what I've been talking about here. It doesn't have auto gain correction. It has dirty pot. I wiggled it and then it got better. That's why it sounded there, or better after that. By the way, Majenko, thank you for the 100 bits. All right, there it is. I touched nothing. This is fully automated. Now it's going to pop a new disc in. And my software already has that disc defined, so it knows what it is, and it just starts ripping. It'll reach out and fetch metadata for the discs as well on its own. I don't have to punch all that in.
Phyllis Andrews subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 22 months. And says you spin me right round, baby, right round. End of line.
Philip, thank you for the tier 1 sub there, and for no, that's 21, 22 months. Thank you, Philip. All right, so here's another thing it does. Disk 3 just finished ripping there, but disk 2 has not yet finished. So what's going to happen is disk 3 is going to sit idle for a moment while it waits for disk 2 to be done. And this happens to ensure that the output order of the disks is the exact same, although reverse stacked, as the input order, because in something like this, it's nice to not have to like read the labels, put them back in the correct spots in the disk cases. But more critically, if you're doing a stack of jewel cases, it would mean that you could just go through the disks and put them in the jewel case without having to like hunt this disk goes to this jewel case. Makes it way easier. So 3 is waiting, which does mean it takes longer to do the whole process, but I'm hoping that on the back end it makes up time. But once disk 2 finishes here, then it will pop that out, put in disk 5 from Breath of the Wild, and then move on to eject disk 3. You know what I just realized? I can be all fancy like I can open a second window. And we can have the exact same view up over here, so I can just walk you through this. Because, here we go. So this is the controlling software, so we can see drive 3 is waiting for previous media because disk 2 is still ripping here. And if we go to the output, you can see the bin queue for disk 2 will still be gaining in size. So 3 will be stuck waiting there. You have an option to ignore the order though, right? Yes. You can enable or disable FIFO. Use the middle hopper as actual stacked park disks that are done early. Ooh, yeah, I'd rather not. No, because you can queue up multiple hoppers of stuff without having to, like, tell it where they are in the hopper. So it seems to be behaving better now. Yeah, only after ridiculous amounts of work. So yeah, that's this is how it's operating. So this is the queue here, and as it rips them, it'll also show the files that it outputs there. So 3 is done. It's already output everything. It's already tagged all the stuff. We're just waiting on 2 to finish. It seems like there is some kind of weird thing that happens. Cool. I love that camera. Apparently I just need to throw out everything I have. Just gonna power cycle the camera. All right, did that fix it? Ugh. It's not the microphone doing that. It is just straight up the camera messing up the audio signal. All right. I think disk 2 just finished. And went and then came back. Then crunch more. Now it's good. It's good now? Okay, good. All right, there goes disk 2. Does it pop exactly when you sat down? Okay. I would say I'll keep that in mind, but I won't. I'm so done with everything. It's been so much work to get this thing going that I don't even trust it. Like, I don't feel accomplished that it's working now. I'm just waiting for it to try and kick me again somehow and have it fail in new and awful ways. Like, there's one pending problem that I have a feeling it may exhibit again at some point. Where it just failed to pick up a disc for some reason. I have no idea what happened. You have to do anything special for a little nudge position before the drop to pick up? Oh yeah, no, that all needed totally recalibrated. Fun fact here, I now know, is it 3 more calibrated things? So I found the calibration value for how much the arm is pressed into the disc when it tries to pick it up. So there's the limit switch that trips, and it's like the sensor for bed leveling on a 3D printer where it's a little probe that pokes down.
Says, welcome to hardware development and
Yeah, no kidding.
101. End of
This is
line.
more like a hardware modifying problem, though. This is, if you can start from scratch and define all of your problems from the beginning, it's a lot easier. But thank you for the 101-bit swarm. So I found the calibration value for how much it mashes into the disc after the sensor pops. I then found out that the arm, the short tray calibration value is what the driver for the Dropix recorder calls it. There are 2 values for how high up it is. There's one value for load and one value for unload. So I actually have those set differently in this now. And those are not exposed through the calibration interface in the Dropix software. Matter of fact, I have this a lot better calibrated than it ever could have possibly been through the Dropix software. So that's fun. Are there any tantalums in the unit? Not that I can remember. Seem pretty dialed in now. It's gonna, any second now, it's gonna do something dumb and just fail, I know it. Fix it to play PoE 3. Hope it's not as garbage or slow down as they keep making combat. I don't know what PoE is. Is that, I'm gonna guess, Path of Exile? And that the 3 is not related? I've never played that, though. Yeah, this really just isn't good for you. It's good for the robot? No kidding. Robot's like one more mistake from suddenly falling down a flight of stairs. Man, hopefully this is much consistency for you using something else reading through the S-Tech channel. Yeah, so yeah, the S-Tech is the majority of the problems. It just doesn't convey the exasperation of having to actually solve them all. Oh, patch 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm actually waiting for the Switch 2 to get the Voyagers update for No Man's Sky, or 6.0, however you want to think about it. Let's see. Does it have it yet? Software update. Nope, you're using the latest version. Boo. So I was really smart. I knew that there were going to be updates for No Man's Sky while I was doing my playthrough of it. And I knew that I would want cross-save to work on the Switch 2. So before they even announced Voyagers, and by announced I mean Sean did the wave emote on Twitter, I had already set it up so that I was using GOG to launch the game and am not using the automatic updating. So I am version locked myself, which is excellent because now I can continue. Also, by the way, No Man's Sky, they're really good about allowing you to do save uploads even when you're not using the latest version of the game. That's really cool. So I still have my cross save working with Switch 2. I just don't have the new update yet. And I'm really looking forward to it, though. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm not that excited about the Star Wars Voyager game. I need to know a lot more than Star Wars FTL to be interested. Like, it's weird that it's actually Voyager. I want to know who is going to be casting, or who's going to be cast for all of the positions, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, that's...
BOSSJOCK.
Did I say Star Wars?
Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 5 months, currently on a 5-month streak. End of line.
If I said Star Wars, that just tells you how fried I am, because I care, like, almost infinitely more about Star Trek than Star Wars. Ugh. I was going to pick up No Man's Sky and Switch 2 since you upgrade is free, but then they upped the price of No Man's Sky and Switch 1 to be the same price as Switch 2. No, I'm paying $80. They put it on sale all the time. You can get it for cheap. Don't worry. But on the other hand, how many awesome free updates have they released for the game? Don't you think they've earned it? Like you buying another copy? Like, I only owned it on Steam. I bought it on GOG just so that I could have the fixed version, and I have no problem with it because they have fully turned around that game. Sound is getting bad again. Dude, I hate everything. Like, just what? Okay, is there mic now? Okay. Ugh. There we go. Ugh. Crackly? What do you mean crackly? It just better be temporary. Mic and crackles? Crackly mic is back. Super bad. Alright, screw this. Testy test, test, test. Where's this one go? Why is that not working? Oh, I know why that's not working. Okay. You guys probably hear me now, though, so that's fine. Left line, right line. Why is that not working? Hold on. Yeah, that's the mic input. Why is it not in? What do you mean in? It's supposed to be out, isn't it? Camera out like this? Wait, what? Okay, sure, whatever. Alright. And there. Alright, how's that for sound? Is that better? Looks like it might be louder. So let me turn it down a little bit. Okay, probably right there. Okay. It's louder. Okay, yeah, that looks like it's still way too loud, though. Let me turn it down a little bit more. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's probably good right there. Yep, there we go. That'll do. Ladder explains the disk drop being audible. Yeah. Robot brain board does in fact have 5 tantalums. Cool. Oh, well that one doesn't. Wait, max 232? Is that the red board or the green board? Because if it's the red board, I don't care. That doesn't have power anymore. Okay. Let me catch up on chat here. Let's see. There's tomorrow's repair video? Nah. Almost looks like the mic jack, the camera has bad solder connection. I don't think that's it. Let's see. Bought it on Steam pre-drama. Did shine and deliver. There's ever a dev to make argument for buying another copy because they've earned it. It would be them. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. Well, maybe the mic was like off or something. I don't know. Okay. Would be more fun if it might explode. Yeah, no kidding. All right. There's a background hiss and the hum, and I don't know, the AC's on, those CD drives is loud. There's all kinds of sound in here. This is not a low noise environment. Okay, green board. Okay, good to know, Helen Croft. That's not, wasn't that delayed. I just didn't read it and understand it the first time. Oh, it's live long and thanks for all the fish. Okay. The other, so I rebought No Man's Sky on GOG to have the fixed save version for playing with the Switch 2. Because I don't mind doing that because they have done so much for the game since then. Another thing, similar to that, and I've mentioned this before on stream, I will rebuy Terraria every single time they release a new big update. And I have done that, except for 1.4 so far. I still need to rebuy it again somehow for that. I'm out of platforms to buy it for. I own it for Vita, I own it for Android, I own it for Switch, I own it for PC, I own the physical limited collector's edition for PC, I own it on Steam, I own it on GOG. No, I don't have it on 3DS. I kind of missed the boat on that one. So yeah, it's like, but I'm out of a platform, so I'm gonna have to just buy it and like give the keys away at this point. Buy it on Vita again, be the only person who has 2 copies. Someone really, really likes Terraria. I can't remember if I have 1,000 or 2,000 hours in Terraria on Steam. I love Terraria. Let's see. Yeah, no, library. Okay, let's clear that. 1,200 hours on Steam. You tell me USB foot switch used for scanning?
CHER 100 dot what dot is dot area.
A game. A very, very good game. You rent it on Steam, you own it on disc, sign any and all petitions. Yeah, exactly. Is there a goal for Terraria? Yes, actually, there is a very definitive end game for Terraria. Yes, unlike Minecraft. Actually, the common comparison is Terraria is 2D Minecraft, but that is a disservice to Terraria, like you would not believe. Because whereas Minecraft is just, you know, you're just dropped in a world and you go do stuff, Terraria is actually a game. Did I get it on the Wii U? No, I did not. I don't think there was there a physical copy for Wii U? That would not satisfy my requirement of making the purchase in a way that supports developers, but I wouldn't mind having that. As an end game, yeah, they took a lot longer to add that though, Portizo. I mean, I say that, it was probably like a decade ago or something at this point, but Terraria had a much more complete game than Minecraft did for the longest time. And really, the Ender Dragon, like...
CHER 100, this is Terraria, https://www.terraria.org/.
Yeah, that's it.
End of line.
Thank you for the 100 bits, Hiram. Do you have it on PlayStation or Xbox? I guess I could get it on one of those. Ugh. I own a PS5 and a Series X, and I don't even know why at this point. No, I can't put the other one in the mini view, but I can put this here. There's just not a lot to see. It doesn't really update anything in real time. So, you want it on Linux? It has a native Linux port when you buy it through Steam. I don't know if the GOG release has that, though. I haven't checked. I could check. Yeah, they actually put a lot of effort into their native Linux build because it was initially You know what? I'll check in a little bit here. Because I need to do it on the other monitor, but I can't do that because I'm filming the other monitor. You have your game boxes archived, like a way to sort what you have for one of you. Yes, actually, go to wiki.techtangents.net, and you can see almost my entire big box game collection. I have them all on there with a handful of exceptions of new items that I have not added, but I can guarantee there's no Sierra stuff in there. GOG-less Linux requirements, sweet. So yeah, you can get it DRM free on Linux through GOG. Even at a Stadia release, yeah. Anyway, their Linux port is really impressive because they use the Microsoft XNA framework for their game because it is from the Microsoft the Xbox Live Arcade era. So the fact that they managed to use an open source, I think, if I remember correctly, XNA framework emulator to make it work on Linux natively is impressive.
I will buy Terraria and play it because you say it's available for Linux on GOG and that it is fun. End of line.
I don't think you will go wrong. I'll tell you this too. You've almost spent more. You have spent more on Cheers today than a lot of people have spent buying the game because it goes on sale dirt cheap. So yeah, 60% off on GOG right now. It might be what I paid. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that one's also an extremely good game, but very, very different from Terraria. Terraria is fast-paced, really tight. No Man's Sky is not. No Man's Sky is great when you want to turn off your brain and just like point your mouse at something and hold the button for a while. Well, I'm not sure that it was actually an XBLA title, Yin. It is just, it used that framework. I don't know if it was actually Xbox Live Arcade. But yeah, if there's ever a game that like I feel you could not go wrong buying and trying, it's Terraria. Second to last disc. There is a vacuum force when it picks up the second to last disc, and you can hear it lift and then drop. The last one because of the suction. $10 on GOG. All right, so it's not on sale, but still, that's the everyday price. That's still really good. There is physical media for Wii U. I wonder what version it is. No, that's actually Terraria Hiram. So Journey's End was the name of the last update. So that's just the subtitle for the game currently. That is the full game. The next last update, I don't think there is a title for it yet. Do some grills? No, this is literally the two discs stacked on top of each other. So it's this. It was supposed to be the last update ever. Yeah. They're really good at last updates. Like they've had like 3 last updates. They are the best at making last updates. No other game has as many last updates as Terraria does. Was it originally going to be a Terraria 2? No, it was Terraria Otherworld. Which I don't think... I think there was a beta. Unfortunately, I was not privy to it. So I've never experienced that. But they did put the Terraria Otherworld music in the base game, at least. I forget how you activate it. I think there's a crystal thing that you put in one of your accessory slots or something, and then you can listen to the Otherworld soundtrack. Yeah, I am aware that the correct pronunciation is Terraria. And while I appreciate the concept of it being laid out like a terrarium, tough. I'm going to pronounce it Terraria. So bottom disk is done because there's no disk 10 or bottom drive. So that was it closing all drives except for the one that it's going to actually work on. There is no next disk for it to load in the top drive, so now it just waits for drive 2 to finish. This is not going to change at all, other than tracks are going to populate for track or disk 9, so I'm going to go back to this view for this. Tuner disk rip to test it more. I mean, yes, but not for the video. Honestly, at this point, now I just need to write a script, and I have to actually remember all of the work that went into this thing. Dude, we did so much. Like, keep in mind, when I first got this thing, the only information about it on the internet were original articles from when it came out. We have taken this from nothing to usable. So much effort. Usable, yes. Okay, but Jaco's right. Usable. I still don't trust it. No, it'll cost you is your sanity. Yeah, there was a heavy sanity price paid. Is it waiting for disk 2 to be done? Yes. It's not forgetting that tray 1 is open. So the way that it works is it will leave the tray open for when it is asked to next load a disk. So if I put another disk in the hopper right now and told it to load it, it would put it in tray 1. So I don't need to close tray 1 and then reopen it. This is a time-saving feature. The tray is supposed to be open. So tray 2 will close once drive 2 is done and then ejects. Before it is allowed to eject tray 2, it has to close tray 1. So you can watch it and see. It is a good test to be aware of. This is one of the things that I had to account for. Then after this finishes, I will show you one more feature this has. And it's not related to any of what I've done over the last week. It's just had this innately for a while. Just because of how my software... Well, no, I did have to add it in. It's... You know, it's been a lot of work. Secret chuck mode? No, we tried to add that. It will not release the disk while it's moving. Under no circumstances. It's very disappointing. On that, I'll talk about this a little more while it finishes ripping the last one. I had to disable the eject where it lowers it down into the tray and then releases, because it will always release the disk when I give it the stop command to stop the motion for the normal unload command. So what we had been doing was issuing a stop and then immediately issuing a grab again. And then that would mean that the disk wouldn't fall because it would stop and then grab it immediately again. It was potentially a problem where it could not get the grab command in time, and then it would just drop the disk, but that hadn't happened until I tried testing it more. And then it actually happens a lot. So it's not possible to use that unload method, unfortunately. So it only uses the normal unload now. Stack them in correct order in another stack. They are in the correct order. It's just reverse of before, which isn't that bad. Yeah, it is disappointing it didn't work. And there it is. The final disc. It's done. 14 discs in a row. Fully functional. Oh, that feels good. All right. Bonus test here. I'm going to put factory showroom. This could be any disc. We're not going to do the pre-gap. I'm going to put this in bin 2. All right. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the software and I'm just going to tell it to rip factory. All right. So I'm not picking anything. I'm just telling it rip factory. So what it's going to do, it's going to check for factory in bin 1 because that's the bin that it's been working from. It detects no disks. So what it's going to do now, it's going to go over to bin 2. It will find factory there. And it is now switched to working from bin 2 and emptying into bin 1. So if I want to rip more than 100 disks, what I can do is completely fill bin 1 and then start adding to bin 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly add a blank to bin 1 for when it does the unload.
100. We now rip all your disks by your command.
That way when it does the eject, it is safe. Fontrez, thank you for the 100 bits there. So the solution, just keep one of those clear spacers at the bottom of each hopper permanently or such. So what it has to do, or what will happen is when I prep a bin to be an unload bin, I do have to put one of those clear discs in there. That is what I'll do. Or a bad CDR or something. Next challenge, make it solid towers of Hanoi. Honestly, I wanted to before I did all of this. Now I don't care. How long does it take you to shuck 100 CDs and then recase them afterwards? A lot of time. That's not bad. Yeah, initially I didn't like that idea, but we're just going to go with it. Maybe you could remount the clear disc hole enough so the robot can't pick it up. That will mess with the aerodynamics in a way that I don't know. But yes, I could use a hole saw and cut it out bigger, more. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Factory showroom takes a while to start the rip for some reason. It's the strangest CD changer I've ever seen. Love it. So it's actually a disc duplicator meant for writing CDs for low to medium volume publication. I have modified it now to be usable for ripping by changing out the drives, and I've fully reverse engineered the software interface for it because none of it was documented. So yeah. Next step, automate decasing and recasing. Yeah. Figures given the multiple drives. Yeah. It's thinking hard about factory showroom. There it goes. Now it's ripping. Actually mixed up Lord CD and clear blanket. The Lord CD actually has print on it. I don't know if anyone has actually talked about that, but there is like a, whatever the label is printed along the side of the disc. There's no artwork or like album information. It's just the label copyright data that's actually on the CD in white in very small font along the outer perimeter. Gonna ask for a replacement for one of the broken USB SATA things. Nah, I just started a return. Now I gotta return one of the broken combo power USB or combo data power things and return the other one. I would try and get a replacement, except they're too big. So I actually had to shuck the other ones that are in there. They don't fit next to each other in the USB ports. Turns out the PCBs inside too are massive. So even when I shuck the plastic out, it's still not enough. Just removing the case allows me to plug a regular cable next to them. So even if I had a third one, I couldn't use it without putting it on an extension or a hub or something. And I tried the hub, and it did not like that. So I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to leave it as is. It works. I'm not going to poke the bear. Oh, man, it's so nice having that thing finally just friggin' work. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Been ridiculous. That was a fast rip. Boom. See, when the case is screwed down, no one's going to know exactly. Boom. And now it's going to put it in bin 1. I don't think I've ever unloaded to bin 1, so this will be the first time me seeing this. Boom. It's beautiful. I love it. For instance, the PCB is so big, it only has a single chip and 2 plugs. Yeah, it's really big. So actually, there's kind of a lot on it, though. A lot of passives, little things, all over. And that's it. That's the game. It works. Stopping recording. All right. Is there anything anyone wants to see it do? Obviously, we all want to see it do Tower of Hanoi, but we're not doing that because that would require so much programming. You want to see it burn. Nope, sorry, the ASUS's are ROM drives only. Oh, shucks darn. Yep, totally the truth. Do the yeet command. No, we tried. We actually put a lot of time into that. It does not work. Frisbee mode activate. Yeah, I wanted to. Robot arm moves in, nudges tray, tray closes. So, unfortunately, we can't do that. When the bin is installed, there's not enough space here. So it can't close the tray that way. Yeet pull? No, just straight up isn't possible. I tried a lot to make it throw a disc. It can't. All right, I got to do something really boring now because no one has any ideas. Okay, you guys ready for this? I'm going to make you watch me film stuff that's like super exciting. Did you mark the frame where to put the hoppers? So I was considering that, but I decided I wasn't going to do that until the video's done because I want it to look nice during the video and then it can look like garbage afterwards. On that note, I put some nice velour felt pads or whatever right there so when it drops a disc on the platform for bin spindle 5, it's really nice. Look at that. Oh, it's so quiet. That's the stuff right there. Custom firmware to enable yeet mode. Yeah, we're not doing that. Finest dumb suggestions from me. Yeah. Well, no, I feel like that's a legitimate suggestion. Honestly, if I could have it do that, I might, because that would allow me to close the trays with the robot commands, which would make it a little more consistent in how it operates. But it just can't. Okay, Zap, we know we love the velour, yeah. All right, here's the ultra super fun thing I need to do. I need to put all of the discs back in the case. Yay! But I have to film the CDs going back in the cases because I need to illustrate how the order is preserved. Mike is dead. Bad Mike. What about now? Is it back now? Never mind? Okay, we're just gonna not mind then. You know, it might be getting bent. I'm nervous about that. Mike is fine? Okay. Robot also needs a little finger to press the eject button. Yeah. Oh, that is a thing. Actually, there's a thing I kind of want to do. I'm half tempted to put a hub in it and have like a male USB port sticking out. If there was an actual 5-port USB hub that I could have got, I would have done it. Because then we could have just plugged a webcam into it for taking the pictures. But what I think we could do today is work on some kind of mount for a webcam and then calibrate bin 4 to be the correct spacing from bin 1. And then if we want to take a picture of the disk in bin 1, no, we can't do that. It has to be in the drives. Never mind. We could use bin 4's position to calibrate the webcam location for, I mean, it doesn't even have to be bin 4. It could be bin 1. I don't know. We'll look at a webcam solution. Ejector CD drive is being used to press other buttons. That's hilarious. Bring the project full circle. Just loading Glue drive that with no casing in the way yeets disk right across the desk. That's great. All right. Let's put the CDs away. Yay, it's so exciting. All right, here we go. So we start with Tears of the Kingdom. And here we go. Boom. So the whole point I'm illustrating is that I don't have to think because they're already in the correct order. I can just place them in. I don't have to read the discs. I can just pop them in. And I know it's all good. You guys are going to love the second part after this. There we go. And that one is done. Move on to Breath of the Wild. Disc 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Now, here's the fun part. I need to film taking them out. Because I lost my footage of that. So we're going to film putting them back into the bin. And then I'm going to turn off the camera, well, stop recording, and then I'm going to put them back into the cases. Oh gosh, the stupid box fell out. Ugh. By the way, if you're dumb and you spend too much money on Nintendo stuff, you get this. This is a pewter Master Sword flash drive. I like how the base isn't even close to tall enough. How much storage on that? You know, I don't know. I'm going to guess like 8 gigs or something. It really doesn't have a lot, but it does have some 5.1 tracks, which is really cool. That's how you also get the E3 demo or trailer music. And that's like some of the best music for the whole game. It's not even in the game. Maximum saxophone. Which is, you know, the crisis suit mode that they had to cut for time. Video record, just reverse it. I don't think that's gonna fly. All right. So let's do this. Oh, actually, you know what? I have to load it in reverse. I have to load Tears of the Kingdom first. Oh, look, the accordion or squeeze box, actually, from Cass. I'm sure that they have his music thing referenced in the Tears of the Kingdom soundtrack, too. Okay. Tears of the Kingdom first. All right, here we go. them landing in the... Remind you of the accordion music disc? No, it's a reference to a character in the game, the squeeze box. And there. And then I cut to the footage I just recorded of me putting the bin on the platform, and then it rips them, and then to the first part where I undid them all. Okay, now I'm gonna not have the camera in my face. I'm gonna work a little faster this time, and I'm gonna recase them one more time. We thought it was only this is real ripping workload is huge, and this is why I need the robot. I mean, not for like these soundtracks in particular. I've actually already ripped all of this, but my software collection needs to be ripped. So that's one thing. The accordions and Paris and music brains, no, I'm never going to add it. I like having test discs that aren't in there. And let's be real, no one's going to care. If someone else wants to get the CD and add it, be my guest. But I'm not going to be the one who does it, because I have value in it being outside of the database. And there. Oh, I screwed up. I put them on the blank disc, which is the output tray. You know what? You guys can comment on the video that you know the secret that I did it in the wrong order and that shouldn't have been there, and then that'll be our little secret. There you go. No one will notice. Yeah, no one will notice. I'll just blur it out by in that part. There we go. Nah. Okay. Now what? Oh, now I can try duct taping a webcam to it. All right. Yeah. You know, it's kind of stupid, actually. Put the webcam on the arm. Why would I do that? That would be dumb. There's a perfectly good chassis that has the drives in it on there. Like, I don't need to put it on the arm. There's no benefit to that. I can just have it on the box. Here's the webcam. Okay, so we got a C910. What is this? It doesn't say. All right, I want to call it a Aleratec 2. Oh, wait, there's a tag on the USB cable. That still doesn't have any information. Okay. So here's what we do. Can you not open the clamp enough to clamp the spinny thing? What are you talking about? Robot eye view for video purposes. I'm planning on sticking my phone on there at some point in recording, but I have no idea when or what or if I'm actually going to do it, but I would like to. Oh no, what have you missed? Nothing really. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and figure out a way.
You want me to give it a glance? Glance. By your command.
Jago, thank you for the 100 bits. I want a webcam pointed down like that. to take a picture of the labels, but I gotta figure out how I'm gonna mount it. Now this one has a 1/4-20 mount on it, so this one will work a little better. But there's literally no reason to put it on here. As long as it's directly over the trays and above the arm, then I can just take the pictures down that way. But the software doesn't currently support that, so like it doesn't really matter. So for the time being, what I can do, I can take off one of the panels. Which I also put a little felt strip on, by the way, because these things rattle and make so much noise. Oh my gosh. They are really sloppy and loose. Alright, I'm just gonna tighten that on there, and then I can move the arm. Oh my gosh, that doesn't even really work. Wow, that's gonna be actually kind of tough. Okay, so we do that, and we put the camera on there. This will at least give me an idea of what this will look like. Okay, so since discs are a circle, it doesn't matter what angle they look at it looks at the CD from. So that's good enough. All right, let's put a disc in there. Oh man, this is gonna add so much more complication. I'm gonna need like lights so that the discs are well lit. Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the butt. All right. Let's see, let's go back here. Open VLC. Turn on the webcam. Video capture, it's a 920, okay. So boom, there it is. Ugh, it's real blurry. That's not good. Ah, I can focus, sweet. Okay, so that'll work. So it needs to be slightly moved. Think farther over. That's too far. Oh, this is going to be a pain. Wait a minute. Oh, yep, sorry, robot. I need the arm to go like that, or else it might collide with bin 3. Okay, so, yeah, it doesn't quite fit. That sucks. Okay, I mean, it almost works. The reflections are a problem, like I was saying. I'm gonna have to like set up the lights in a very particular way. So if I just hold this over so it stops getting the light directly on it, actually it focuses pretty good for being that close. This might be okay. I mean, it almost fits in frame there. Different zoom factors for different drives because depth change. We can make that fixed, yeah. Basically just different crop levels though. So one thing I can do here is I can close this and I can open it in OBS where we can actually like change the resolution and stuff. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stream nonsense in this for some reason. Oh, I was using this as a stream computer for a while, so that would explain that. Hold on, profile, new, plane. Just whatever, cancel. No, next. You know what? I will just, no, just, I don't want you to do anything. Let's just cancel. Let's see, does it make the profile still? Yes. Scene collection, new, empty.
77 is gifting 1 tier 1 subs to Tech community. They've gifted a total of 6 in the channel. End of line.
Boss Jock, thank you for the gifted sub.
77 gifted a tier 1 sub to Sump River. End of line.
Thank you, I appreciate that. C920, they make pretty good cameras for what they actually are. Let's see, tray and eject till the disc ends up facing upright, randomized by the disc motor. Yeah, really. That's gonna be one of the fun problems with this. Okay, you know what? Docks, reset. Yeah, whatever. Okay. And video capture, camera. Okay, so that's that. So resolution, 720p. Okay, so that's just what we get. All right. If I could get it a little bit higher, it would be perfect. So that's one more click up. Oh, I think it's going to work out really well, actually. Yeah, so right there. That's pretty good. Okay. So from that angle, you can actually see how down here, the edge of the disc is inside the drive. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just how it is. So that's why you cannot pick this straight up and take it out. Looks wobbly. Yeah, it's like 5 frames per second or something, because if I change this to that, then it'll be fine. But then it looks terrible. Oh, it's wobbly because it's shaking because of the fan in the robot. That's cool. Awesome. That's not going to cause any problems. What about the bottom tray? I mean, we can see. Look at it, it's so good. Got way more twiddly options OBS dialogue than I do. What do you mean, in this? Are you in Windows? I mean, it's also dependent on the camera. Hold on. Come on, refocus. There we go. So yeah, that'll work. All right, I want to put it back in the top tray, though, because I want to see how circular the circle is. Noctua conversion pending? Maybe. All right, let's screenshot this. This doesn't have to be like a good screenshot. It can just be whatever. Okay, export to GIMP. Mac OS, okay. Okay, I wonder if the arm would be wobbly. So, circle. This will tell us how far off of... actually, that's pretty darn good. That's really good. Okay. Yeah, this isn't the final position or anything, but yeah, that's totally going to be fine. Just replace whole PSU with a modern one. It's more efficient, doesn't spin the fan when cold. Oh, no, there's actually a dedicated fan in the drive bays. And I would remove it because, I mean, it's just CD drives. But on the other hand, they're choking down like 5 amps of 5-volt power. So, like, you know, maybe they actually should be cooled. So, yeah, maybe a Noctua mod. On the other hand, that would require me open it. So, pass. Just keep the side panels off. But it looks so good. Replace CD drives with blue SCSI. Is there a SATA ODE emulator yet? Oh, man. Also, ODE emulator. I'm smart. I know what words are and acronyms mean. Yin, yes, but that won't be how I actually use this. I'm not sure if FFmpeg can take a still from a UVC source, but I'm sure there's some kind of Python thing that can just directly control a UVC camera. So I can probably just get a still directly from the webcam. And then I can run it through Wand/ImageMagick to cut it to a circle if I want or not, but I'm probably just going to not care. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Philip. Also, probably just going to have whatever lights are on it on all the time. But the lights are definitely going to be a problem. Getting some audio clicks. All right. I don't think IR illumination is a good idea for things that have ink in the visible light spectrum. If I untick these presets, a handful of other options. It is dependent on the camera. So all the sliders and stuff are exposed as part of the UVC interface. So not all cameras have that. So here's the other part about adding the camera to the setup. When do we take a picture? Oh, okay. Well then, I don't know why. Maybe Mac OS doesn't support as much UVC stuff. So the question of when we take the picture is hypothetical. I know when we take the picture. We take the picture after the arm has put the disc in, but before the tray has been closed. And the problem with that is that period of time only exists when the drive controller has execution priority, let's call it. Okay? So the photo needs to be taken by the controller. Now that sucks because it means that we need a generic controller, or that I think we need a generic controller, or I don't know. Why? Because we have to interrupt execution of the robot, or the robot controlling software, let's say. I'll frame it that way. Here, let me just show you. This is the software that controls the robot. The software has this load function, which is part of the disk rip API, between this command and this command right here. Take picture. All right, we got to do it there. I guess if you don't have the A, it's actually spelled correctly, isn't it? We have to do it here. So what there needs to be is some kind of callback. Well, here's the thing. I don't want it permanently coded to always be required that there's a camera on the robot. I want it to be an option. So I want in the settings that you'll have the controller section, but then you'll also have a camera section, all right? And then, I don't know what the camera ID is, like video, camera port maybe is dev video 0 or something like that, all right? And we'd just call it Logi C920 or something like that. So we need something like that. And then This will have, if camera exists, take picture, maybe. I don't have access to the settings, but during the configuration, I could have it maybe check if there is a camera. I don't know. I got to figure this out. I got to figure out how I handle the camera being added or not. Yeah, Majego, that, yes, technically, I'm using a Python FFmpeg wrapper, as you're aware of probably how big of a pain in the butt that is to install, because there's 3 different ones. But I'm probably just going to look up if there's a Python UVC interface for just taking a still directly. Have the camera stuff inside separate program. If it's enabled, the main program, run the external program. Something along those lines, Helen Croft. I just want to figure out how I want to handle it logically here. So like I said, I want a camera set up like this. You know what I think we'll do? We'll have the camera have a controller ID like this. Yeah, maybe we do that. So maybe the controller, all right, will have a camera ID associated with it. So we'll have like camera and then camera equal none by default. Yeah, we can do this. Okay. So we'll have an initialization process probably in this. Similar to this, if controller ID and drive, no, this is it, controller manager. Okay, so we'll probably make a camera manager, and then for each of the cameras, they'll go through and then they'll check if there's a controller ID in camera. Then it will grab that controller by the ID and then assign it a camera. And then when we go to do the rip, if camera is not none, all right, then camera dot picture, and then we just give it like a path. Wait, there is no path. Uh-oh. Ooh, that sucks. Oh, there's a lot of problems to solve with this. Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, let me catch up on chat. So a good bit behind. How well does the book scanner work on jewel cases? You know, a script to add pictures to the backup automatically. I've already kind of decided that I never want this software to be involved with scanning, because scanning is like a whole different process. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I have a different scanning program that I don't want to integrate into this. The idea for this is not a complete backup solution for every single thing related to a piece of media. It is meant specifically to tackle the media. You should handle boxes and manuals and books and that kind of stuff in a separate process distinct from this. So, take picture logic is going to be smart and have 3 different crop regions depending which drive it's in. Yeah, it's going to have to. So we'll read drive bin something or another. So what it's going to have, yeah, like Majenko, I assumed it was already out there. I'm not that concerned about it right now because we have 10 minutes left. We're not actually writing any real code right now. On that, I should undo this stuff because I think I did make some changes here. Yeah, that's right. So let's just save that. So yeah, I'll have a separate camera. It'll be associated to a controller. And then the controller will take the photo. We'll need... This is gonna be complicated. This is the settings file. It's not in the Git repo. So that's where that was. On that, let's commit git diff. Yeah, that's right. I don't want this all commented actually. This is the calibration process. I haven't shown you guys that. It's not that long. We could walk through it once if you want to see it. It's kind of cool. Okay, run that again. That just enables the calibration. Get metadata. Try. Yeah, that's good. We want that. Okay. Yeah, let's run through the calibrations. You can see how that works. So that's the arm over there. You can go ahead and look at that. Let's close this. So you run the... Let me disable debug mode, actually, because it works. I don't need to worry about that right now. And it prints so much extra garbage. False. Okay. So we'll run Python 3 auto publisher ls. Okay. So what it's going to do, it's going to close all the trays, and it's going to prep. Okay. Welcome to the guided calibration setup for the Aleratec auto publisher ls. Press enter to continue or control C to cancel. We're going to press enter. Okay. So for each value, you will input a difference to apply to the current value. The first, we will calibrate the position of the arm for each bin. So for this, you should have a bin that's full of 100 discs, okay, or more. So what you do is you put that in there. All right, let me do this. And then I have this little metal thing that sits inside of a CD, and then you put that in the bin like that, and then you align the peg here with that. And then you know that your alignment with the setup there is correct. All right. So then what you do if you want to change this, we'll do this. I'll do this in real time here. I'm going to minus 50. So let's say I want this to go this way a little bit. In the software, I'm going to respond minus 50. So what it's going to do is it's going to take 50 out of this value. So now it's going to recalibrate the whole machine. It has to send every calibration value again. It recalibrates it, and then it's going to move it back to the calibrated position we were just at. And now we can see it's too far to the left. So what I would do is I'd come back here, and we can see the last change we made was minus 50. So I'm just going to bring it back 50. It's going to resend the entire calibration. The peg did come with the robot, yes. You guys haven't seen it, but I actually have the box for this thing, the original box, with all the original packing material and everything. If I'm ever not using it, it definitely has to go back in that, because this thing sucks to store. All right. So we're going to say that that position now is good. I'm just going to hit enter. You can also hit 0 or type in 0. So now it's going to recalibrate, and then it's going to go to position 2. Sending set, yeah, I guess I can't type, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So that's bin position 2. So you do the exact same thing there. Let's go ahead and go to bin 3. I can clear, I'm printing this out. This was debug. This is the cal data that you need to put in your settings file. So this is the cal data. So that's what you're ultimately trying to generate is this. So bin 3 is good because we've already calibrated it. Purpose of the metal slug is to apply weight to the top of CD so they're at the same position they would be when the robot is pressing down on them to grab the top one. No, it's not. I have the manual. I know what it's for. Okay. Oh, I was afraid it would do that. Okay. So this is bin 5 position, which is this metal peg. I was hoping I could put it in the drive 3 position and then have it move over, but apparently it puts the height up as well. So that's this position. So next, we move on to other positions to calibrate. So those are all the bins. They would have used a plastic one. I don't think so. Next, we're going to roughly calibrate a few things before attempting any complicated tests. Arm position to drop disc into tray. I think there was supposed to be a tray open before that. So that might have gotten messed up in my many, many modifications of this. Bin 1, bin 5, okay. Drive tray open 1. Yo, why did that not open? Oh, is this messed up down here? 1, yeah it is. Oh, okay, hold on. We're gonna fly through 2, 3, 4, hold on. We're gonna kill this and redo all of that. Oh my gosh, we don't have any time. Well, okay, it would eject the tray. You'd set the arm position. Yeah, that's basically how the calibration works. So what I've been doing is, as I've been working on this, I've just been commenting out things that I know are calibrated and then doing that. But at the end, it just prints that same JSON data packet thing that it's been printing out the whole time. I can go back up here and disable that because we don't really want that printing out every single time. Hard-coded drive paths only for the calibration process. So if you were going to calibrate this, you have to run this file specifically, and you should go in here and just modify these. Not that anyone else is going to have one of these, but this would be that. And then if you wanted to test it, you could just comment out those 2 lines, then it would run through a test of all 3 drives. You need 9 disks in there. So pretty purpose specific. Yeah, I could add parameters to this and stuff like that, but that's like expanding the scope a lot. I needed the calibration steps for myself. They are laid out in a very particular order. So the way that it does it at first, it's going to do a position of the arm to the tray, so that you know how far in it needs to go. Then it's going to calibrate the tray height. Then it's going to calibrate the short tray amount. Then it's going to calibrate the arm position again. And then on that calibration, it will actually go and ask for a disc, and it will put a disc in and then remove it so that you can see how that process works with the calibrated value that you have. And then once you have that dialed in, it knows that it's good. And then it will have you calibrate the height for drive 2 and for drive 3, and then you have everything fully calibrated. So it loops back through recalibrating a few values so that you know you have it correctly dialed in, as it knows progressively that it is more safe to do that. So mine works a lot differently than how the original software works. But yeah, that is basically it. So let me run this one more time. Git diff. So I removed that, which I should. We did add that, but it doesn't do anything. Or did it? No, I don't think it did. Move tray 1. Yeah, actually I want to get rid of that. Where is that? Move. Yeah, we can get rid of this. That doesn't work. And then we can get rid of this because that doesn't work either. So this should actually, the first angle should be up high away from the tray because your tray height isn't known. So there we go. Yeah, now that's all good. Okay. Yep, that's good. Okay. Git commit am APLS finally done. Yeah, we're ending right now, Philip, so see you later. Well, don't make you do what I wanted to do. Yeah, it was a nightmare. Git, push, origin, web. One of these days, the web branch will be done and I'll merge it back in. But I got to make sure that stuff still works without the web server running at this point, because I think I hard-coded a couple too many things to the web server. So, all right. I think that's it. Okay, I ended the stream, or I started the stream sitting. I'm gonna end it sitting. Oh yeah. It is time for the outro. Oh yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. Okay, well, what do you guys want to do tomorrow? You want to do more stuff with this? You want to do literally anything else? Actually, you know what? I think I have to not stream this weekend. I think I have to work on the video. Because it's done. I gotta, like, bust a move on getting a video out about this thing now. Take the weekend off? I think I have to. I'm not gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it off of streaming and then just work on filming the video. So I don't really... Yeah, it's not gonna be off. It's gonna be writing a script and then filming all the B-roll and what other stuff, so... Yeah. Alright, no more streams this weekend, actually. Because I gotta work on other stuff for a video about this thing. And I don't want streams to be the reason the video doesn't get done. So... Alright, yeah, they're all pushing Majenko. I'll say Majenko's cool. You guys go check out Majenko. When I would normally be streaming, because yeah, I gotta do this, so yeah. But all right, if you all enjoyed this stream, then you might want to follow, or more importantly, go look for my YouTube channel when I eventually make a video about this thing. That video is gonna feature a lot of exasperated sighs. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon or get a shirt like this one. But that's it for now. And I will see you all next time. See you next weekend? Yeah. Unfortunately. Alright. Bye.